If you're a Pixar fan or just a fan of movies in general, you will have likely seen the studio's latest outing, Luca. The movie is a classic Pixar flick filled with comedy and emotion, and is another home run for the studio. But is there more to the movie than meets the eye? And could it be connected to another Pixar great, Monsters, Inc., for example? Well, let's take a look.
Hey, stop looking. She's too beautiful for you.
It's no secret that Pixar has had some more mature themes in amongst their movies, like how Soul is about death and what comes next, how WALL-E is about pollution and humans' relationship with technology and the world, how Onward is about the death of a parent and the relationship with a sibling, and how Inside Out is a coming-of-age story about going through personal and physical changes. Luca, which follows a shy teenage monster who wishes to visit the surface and go to school, also for the most part is a coming-of-age story. But, of course, it also has the general theme of monsters and their relationship to people, with there being a mutual fear and distrust between them. This, of course, is a theme in another Pixar movie, Monsters, Inc. But the similarities between Luca and Monsters, Inc. runs deeper than that, and even possibly points to a shared universe. It has been long theorized that every Pixar movie connects, and that there is an intricate universe that links every movie together. There are many Easter eggs referring to other Pixar movies throughout, but the main theory was developed by author John Negroni, and to give you a very brief overview, spans millions of years, all the way back from the Good Dinosaur onto Monsters, Inc., which is theorized to be set in the future, and basically follows the rise and fall of humanity. To cut a long story short, Toy Story's by and large ends up poisoning the planet, leading to the rise of animals and inanimate objects to take over, with Boo from Monsters, Inc. becoming a key player in the new world, specifically as the old woman from Brave. Whether you believe this theory or not, it's quite compelling. Either way, there is evidence to suggest that at least Luca and Monsters, Inc. are connected. In particular, the theory that the sea monsters in Luca are actually exiles from the world of Monsters, Inc. The first piece of evidence is, of course, they both revolve around monsters and their poor relationship with humans. In Luca, the people of Porto Rosso have a deep fear of sea monsters, and there are many tales of these creatures roaming across the shores. This fear, however, is revealed to be unfounded, although the sea monsters are very aware of the human disdain for them, and so in turn are afraid of them. Monsters, Inc. has a similar theme, as they have a great level of distrust and fear of humans, hence why they go to such a crazy extent for 2319 during the whole white sock embargo. Another piece of evidence to support this is that human myths develop from monsters exiled from the land of Monsters, Inc. Take, for example, the Yeti, or Abominable Snowman, who Sully and Mike encounter during Monsters, Inc., who was banished from Monstropolis to live in the mountains of the Himalayas. The Yeti also alludes to other monsters living in exile, Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster. Could the Loch Ness Monster actually be a sea monster from Luca? Maybe, although, let's face it, Nessie is just a sea otter floating on its back. The first sighting of an aquatic monster in Loch Ness dates back to August 22nd, 565 AD, while the modern legend of Nessie was born on May 2nd, 1933, when a sighting was published in the Inverness Courier. With Luca set 20 years later in the 1950s to 60s, could Nessie have emigrated from the Scottish Highlands to the Italian Riviera? I mean, I wouldn't blame her. Or are they descendants of Nessie, or just their very own form of sea monsters? It's hard to say, but any of these points could be possible. If the sea monsters from Luca are in fact monsters exiled from Monstropolis, or descendants of banished monsters, it would make the relationship between humans and monsters even more stressful, as they have nowhere else to go. Also, seeing as the sea monsters can disguise themselves as humans, that would be helpful for Nessie to get out of the water and remain undetected now and again. And as I said, maybe take a trip to Italy. Although, that being said, I don't know whether the fact that the Loch Ness is freshwater and Luca and co are sea monsters would have a part to play in it or not. The question of why the sea monsters would have been exiled remains a mystery either way. We have already mentioned the connected universe, and there's also more evidence to suggest that Luca is a part of the broader Pixar world, other than just through the theme. Luca has a number of Easter eggs to other Pixar works and the Pixar brand in general, such as the Luxo ball and the Pizza Planet truck hidden in plain sight. Although this doesn't necessarily confirm that Luca is directly connected to another Pixar movie, seeing as both Luca and Monsters, Inc. focus on monsters, and Monsters, Inc. branching off into TV with Monsters at Work, could suggest that Luca is another part of the grander Monsters Inc. world. Aquatic monsters have been a huge part of human lore for centuries, and with all of the information revealed to us in Monsters Inc., could this suggest that these sea monsters are exiles who have either created their own society since being banished, are descendants of one or more sea monsters, maybe the reason they can look like humans is because they're part human, or were mass exiled for some unknown reason? While we can't come to a concrete conclusion, this is definitely a theory that could work. Other than Monsters Inc., could Luca be connected to another Disney movie, or even another Disney-affiliated movie? While there are no direct connections, parallels can definitely be drawn with both The Little Mermaid and Studio Ghibli's Ponyo.